Hey there everybody, today I'll be drawing a donut with oil pastels, Cray by Sakura. As you see here, I have some donuts I've already drawn. I have one that doesn't have sprinkles, one with sprinkles, one that looks like it's been torn off and a part of it been eaten. Speaking of which, I have some here in different colors that show progression of a donut being eaten bit by bit. And in fact, I tried to put the sprinkles in them pretty much the same place to make it look like it was picked up, bitten, put down, and so forth, as you see here. All right, let me show you how to do this. I'll put these away first, and I'm going to be working on this with this Strathmore drawing pad. I'm going to be using peach and brown to start. And we're going to do the sketch with these two colors. I actually going to be using the brown to sketch it out first, I'm thinking, because you'll be able to see it better. Alright, so what you do first is you make an oval shape that is wider than it is taller. Something like that. Alright, that's the first thing to do. Then I would do a hole in the donut, not in the center, but a little bit higher up than the center. Sketch that out, and then I would do a half moon kind of shape here. All right, after that I would do some drippy frosting. The next thing I'm going to do is begin the layers. I'm going to do a lot of layers, maybe about 3 for each section, and then at the end I'll show you how to do highlights to make things look like they're really shiny by literally pushing off the layers. Alright, the first thing to do is put in a layer of this peach. Notice I'm not putting it in very neatly and pressing really hard, because like I just said, I'm going to be using a lot of layers, so that will be filled in as I go. Let me put some in here too. I'm actually going to make this a little curvy here to make it look like the donut frosting is coming down over here as well. Alright, there I go. Now the next thing I'm going to do is put in some yellow. Ever notice that donuts have like a center here that's kind of yellowish? Now the ideal way to draw this, by the way, is to have a real donut here. I've been doing this so much, as you can see, that I've kind of like figured out the main way that I could teach you how to make a donut. Alright, so there's that section there. Now I'm actually going to use purple for shadow. As we see here, purple or violet and blue are the shadow colors, and I'm going to rely mostly on purple for today. So I'm going to put some purple. Remember, it's not just a line underneath on the frosting, because I want to make it look like the frosting is so thick it's creating a shadow, but kind of, you know, just putting it in imperfectly like this. I'll do the same over here. Extra shadow in the corners because this whole donut is creating a shadow. And let me put a little bit of shadow here. Again, not like a perfect line. You know, this is the portion of the drawing that looks odd, looks a little strange until you put all the shadow in there. I'm going to put a line in here. Notice it's an imperfect line. So I'm going to put in now the peach again, because the peach is the main color, or the local color. And now something's going to happen. It starts to blend and it starts to become smoother. All the layers going to come into one, and it's not so much purple that you see, but just a darker peach in this case. So you see how it's all becoming blended. It's becoming smoother. I am pressing very softly, or just enough pressure, I would say, so that the colors blend and they don't push off. I think I'm going to put a little bit of the brown again on this side, and more yellow to give it a golden look. Now, when you put yellow on top of purple, it's going to make a brown anyway. The reason that is that these are complementary colors or opposite colors, and opposite colors blended over each other in equal amounts, kind of make a brown. So let's move on to frosting. And notice I'm putting it in very haphazardly, almost scratchy, you could say, imperfect right now. Later on, I will make the edges look really neat, just like I did these edges here, see? I will do the same with the frosting, because the frosting is not, it's not scratchy. That's not the texture that frosting has. Frosting usually looks kind of smooth. Now let's put in some violet. Why violet? Remember, it's the shadow color. I'm gonna put some down here, on the frosting itself down here. A little bit here, and on the bottom portion there. I forgot to put in this little section here, so I'll do that. Now, I'm actually going to put purple on the back side here. Okay, as you probably guessed already, I'm gonna be going over this with some pink again, because it's the local color and it's gonna be blending in. When I get to the edges, I'm gonna make sure that the edges have a sharp edge to them and not fluffy or scratchy or any other kind of descriptive. And I'm going to work to about that height there, because white will be coming a little bit. Let me make sure that I got the drips right over here. And then this section up here, I'm going to press not as hard, because white is going to go over that as well. All right, did I fix those edges? Double check. Now let me use the white. I'm going to check to see, how clean it is. Use an extra sheet of paper. I could use a tissue to clean off the excess color that it has. Okay, now I'm going to press softly on here. Now the key is not to really put the white over the purple. I'm going to press softly. And back to the pink. Pink is the local color, the main color. Now this edge here, where it goes from whitish pink to the darker pink, I'm going to press softly so that it kind of blends, and there's a bit of a gradation there. By the way, I just realized this peach I didn't overlap with the purple in there, so it looks odd. Fixed it. Now I'm going to maybe add more purple here. And this is the one time I'm going to use a little bit of blue in here to really make that stand out. There you have it. There's my donut. Now it's time for those sprinkles. The sprinkles do make it fun. But before I do that, it's time for highlights. So the highlights. The highlight is the part that makes it look shiny. See this here? Where do I want to put the highlights? I think I'm going to put one up here, kind of long. Maybe I want a couple over here, something here, maybe there. Again, not on the purple parts. Now I'm pressing so hard that I'm literally pushing off the layers that I have created. And I'm getting down to the bottom base layer of the paper. I don't know if you could tell that. But that's going to make it look really shiny. There. Does that look like it's shiny now? Now, speaking of shiny, I do want to make this little section here of the white stand out. And I think I'm going to go in with a little bit, actually brown. to make this line underneath it more defined. Okay, so for the sprinkles, I like to make them like this, watch. Kind of short and a little bit on the wide side, not long and not thin. I want them to really stand out. Actually, that's kind of better. Okay, here we go. I'm pushing off what was underneath and filling it in with the color. So I'm putting them here, there, pressing hard, different directions. Again, pushing really hard so that you could take off some of the colors underneath. Now, if you want to get really detailed, you can put highlights and shadows on some of these sprinkles, or as they're called in the area of Boston, jimmies. I'm trying to use the edge, you know. I'm going to use a little bit of purple. The last thing you could do, you could put some light blue and pink together for a drop shadow. The key thing, and please do this, it's got to be light. So see this here? It's a little too dark for me. I'm going to press really, really soft. All right, here's the blue, but you got to be really soft about it. This is a dark blue. I wish I had a light one. Now, what am I going to put on top of these two? I'm going to put white. It's going to blend it in. It's going to make it lighter because I don't want that to stand out so much. Okay, let me wipe this again. Oops, it just broke. Let me start over here. Make sure the edges are blurry. Make sure I keep the edge of the donut though. There, I'm trying to achieve the color periwinkle, which is a kind of a lavenderish blue color, which is good for shadow. I'm going to take some actual purple and put it underneath for some extra shadow. And then I'll go over it with white very softly. Yeah, this is a rare moment that you're going to put white over shadow, isn't it? It's just because the paper is white and I want it not to look so stark. All right, there you have it. Now, you've achieved your goal if you have made a donut that it looks realistic enough that someone could look at it and want to just grab it and eat it. So that's how you know that you've done your job as far as being an illustrator here. All right. If you think you need to add any extra little touches here and there, go for it. And now it's your turn. And I have only one thing to say about that. You guessed it. Get cracking.